One, one, two, one, two, one, two. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to Signature TV News. I am Charles Pius. In the headlines, Tinubu appoints advisor for China-Nigeria strategic partnership. Anambra Consul election results underway. Pope Francis criticized by Belgian Catholic University moments after visiting. And China confers highest state honors on individuals ahead of National Day. Details in a moment. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Joseph Tebe as Director General and Global Liaison for the Nigeria-China strategic partnership reached by the two countries during the president's visit in September. Tebe, a 1988 first-class graduate in civil engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University, will report directly to the president. The president's special advisor, Information and Strategy, Bayo Ananuga, said in a statement on Sunday. Tebe is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA, and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. At the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, President Xi Jinping pledged 360 billion yuan, about $51 billion in new financing to African nations in the next 3 years. He also pledged support for 30 infrastructure projects to boost connectivity across the continent and create 1 million jobs. During his official visit before the FOCAC, Tinubu also obtained a commitment from Jinping to support Nigeria's economic diversification plans, infrastructural development, technology transfer, and job creation. Nigeria and China, among others, agreed to collaborate on expanding Nigeria's rail network, upgrading power distribution, and creating new industrial parks. China and Nigeria also agreed to collaborate to advance education and talent development, focusing on vocational training, STEM education, and academic exchanges. The two countries also plan to improve Nigeria's agricultural practices through knowledge sharing, technology transfer, and investment in sustainable farming techniques. Nigeria will host key players in the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS countries, to address security challenges that hindered farming and agricultural production in ECOWAS countries, officials have said. The Director General, ECOWAS Food and Cultural Festival, Felix Ihonre, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen on the sidelines of the preparatory inter-ministerial meeting on the festival in Abuja. The ECOWAS Food and Cultural Festival is scheduled to be held in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State from October 6th to 11th, 2024. Ihonre said that the festival would bring together key players in the food security and security structure to prefer solutions to security challenges that hindered farming and agricultural production in Nigeria and other West African countries. The EFCF boss said once the government was able to stop the violence in various communities, farmers would go to farms without molestation or harassment. According to him, when the farmers go to farms and are able to cultivate crops and grains in a right time and in a right place without molestation or harassment, there will be enough and affordable food. Ihonre said activities such as golf tournaments, train carnival, Miss ECOWAS beauty pageants, and others had been outlined for the festival. The federal government has declared Tuesday, 1st of October 2024, as a public holiday to commemorate the nation's 64th Independence Day anniversary. The Minister of the Interior, Dr. Olubimi Otunji-Ojo, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated Nigerians at home and abroad on the occasion. Excuse me. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, said Dr. Tunji-Ojo praised the patient and hardworking Nigerian men and women, stating that their sacrifices will not be in vain. Aligning himself with the theme of the anniversary, the minister reiterated the need for Nigerians to reflect on the labor of our heroes past and be inspired for the task ahead, realizing that the Nigeria of our dream can only be built when we unite. While wishing Nigerians a happy Independence Day anniversary, Dr. Tunji-Ojo urged the citizens to continue to be steadfast in nation building. Organizers of the Fearless October 1st protests have declared that the police, Department of State Services, and the military would not stop them from embarking on the demonstration as planned. The organizers have also written to the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Obetokun, to request security during the demonstration, noting that protest is a fundamental right they would not submit to any state agent. Nigeria will celebrate its 64th Independence Day on Tuesday, October 1st. Today, some Nigerian youth have taken to protest the hardship occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy and the devaluation of the naira. The national coordinator of the Take It Back movement, Juwon Sayolu, and director of mobilization of the group, Damilare Adenola, said mobilization efforts had begun, adding that Nigerians were mobilizing from different parts of the country for the protest. The group explained that the FCT protest would be held at the Eagle Square, the same venue of the Independence Day parade, while the Lagos protest would take place at the Ikeja under bridge. The organizers noted that the protest would be across the country, adding that only immediate reversal of fuel subsidy removal would dissuade them from the demonstrations. The IG Egbetogun had directed the force zonal and state commands to deploy men from Monday to strategic locations until the stand-down order was given. Meanwhile, Enugu State government has called for more collaboration from civil society organizations and other relevant stakeholders in ensuring the actualization of the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) by finding common grounds to advance the collective interests of the state. The Secretary to the State, Professor Chidebere Onya, made the call on Saturday during the Enugu State 2024 Global Goals Week celebration. Signature TV correspondent Precious Chiagoro has the report.
Called you, and that story that you took, you're supposed to take it.
This one?
Yes.
Ah.
I told you that was the first one that is about 1st October and protest something.
I thought it was after this one because of the long report now, so that we can now prepare well.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We're just going to we're asking you to stay on the line. We're just going to ask you a few questions regarding the elections and then the result. What are you hearing about the result, and what has been the?
I'm standing by.
Okay, so you just stand by. We would get back to you after this particular report that's playing now. So tell me to put on the microphone on this one. The Anambra State local government elections have been conducted only yesterday, and of course, we know that has happened for the first time since 10 years now. We have with us on the phone Ndo Waleze, who is our bureau chief in Oka right now. Good to have you, sir. Good evening. Hello, Mr. Ndo Waleze. Ndo Waleze, can you hear me?
Hello?
Good evening to you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so give us an update on what's going on. Today is this is more than 24 hours since that elections happened, and so far we haven't heard anything about the results. What's the updates in Oka right now?
Yeah. Right now, I am at the headquarters, the state headquarters of ANSET, where the results already collected at the local government level are being, voting for final cross-checking and possible announcement. So far, we've been here for more than 4 hours, and they are still working on it. Grapevine information is saying that they are still expecting results from about 6 local government areas, even though they wouldn't want to disclose the particular local government areas, and or even give us, with regards to the time, give us an estimate of when they turn in the results. But so far, all they've been doing is to walk inside the office. They've been busy walking inside the office, and people are here outside waiting. Journalists, observers, and some party agents are waiting outside with security personnel all around the premises.
So no particular results have been announced for any of the local governments so far.
I didn't get you.
Has there been any result declared yet for any of the local governments? You said that like they are still waiting for 6. Has there been any declaration for any?
Some of the results, it's the local government election, so the electoral officers at the local government level, they have the power to declare the results. Most of the ones we've had is the ruling party in the state, APGA, clinching the position. Both the chairmanship and the councillorship, so far, the ones we've had. So we don't know what the final outcome will be.
Can you give us an example of the ones that you have heard so far?
I cannot say for now.
Okay, can you give us an example of the ones you have heard so far?
Example of
You said there are some that has been announced at the local government level. Can you give us an example of the local government that has been announced so far?
okay, the Daily South local government area has been announced, and a woman who who was the transition committee chairman there, and also the party candidate of AFGAN. She has been declared winner as of June within the South Local Government area. In on the South, former council chairman, transition chairman there, Emeka Oji, has also been declared. Same with Onitsha North, and some other local government areas. Ihiala. Can't remember exactly the other one. But so far, the ones we have, so it has always been up there.
Okay, so what's the mood like? It's been 10 years since the organization of a local government election. For you, as someone who has lived there, worked there, haven't even not witnessed a local government elections for more than a decade in Anambra, how does it feel? Is it for you a welcome development? Does it feel good for people whom you have spoken to?
Coming back, I think actually this is the last question.
I was saying, how does it feel for you as a journalist who have worked and lived in Anambra, having to have a local government election after 10 years?
Okay. It's something we've been looking forward to with great enthusiasm. Even though we have seen the flaws, and most of the flaws are actually because of the shortness of time in preparation for the election. But that notwithstanding, as journalists, we are happy just like other stakeholders. The people of the state, they want to see democracy as the lowest rung of the ladder in the state. So people are happy. No matter irrespective of the flaws that have been seen so far. So I am also happy, feeling happy that is happening 10 years after.
Is there any irregularities that have been? Is there any irregularity that was recorded? Any violence that was recorded in any part of Anambra?
The number one thing is the lateness of commencement of voting in most of the areas. Materials and personnel arrived late in most of the places. But from 11 upwards, most of the places have started voting and going smoothly with security and peace. But in some of the areas, we discovered that the most sensitive of all the materials, that's the result sheet from this state, wasn't readily available with them, most of the people. And you know what that means. So it's only that most of the components are not just doing this, maybe kind of for the sake of participating. Otherwise, it were to be a kind of full election where parties, contest and demand for knowledge of most of the things. It has been caused problems in most of the areas, but some of the party agents, the position party agents, didn't bother so much. But in some areas, like in Ireland, the electoral officer was, apprehended by the people yesterday for the fact that the result sheet was handed over to somebody that is a party dictator in the area. And people, activists and community people gathered him up and were questioning him and he was contesting. So these are some of the matters that will come up. And like yesterday when we are going around, I was able to notice that in some areas like Aroma Junction, which is very popular in Oka, they have 2 polling booths. And I can tell you that none of the areas, the booths, nothing happened there from morning to evening in terms of election. There was no voting done. So these are some of the irregularities that we have noticed. There may be more.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on the results as they trickle in. Many thanks for your insights, Mr. Andu. Thank you so much.
All right.
Meanwhile, the Enugu state government has shut down some schools in Enugu, the state capital, alleged to be substandard and operated illegally. The Commissioner for Education, Professor Ndubueze Mba, disclosed this on Saturday during the enforcement of government's policy on ways to strengthen and improve the quality of education in the state. Mba said the exercise was meant to rid the state of poor education quality and skill deficiency. Some of the affected schools were Evangel School, Ivory Education Center located on Owerri Road, Asata, and Eastview Nursery and Primary School at Railway Quarters, Njemanze. Others included St. Michael Nursery and Primary School, Asata, St. Bartholomew Nursery, Primary and Secondary School, Asata, and Olive Grove Nursery and Primary Academy in Njemanze. Mba said that the exercise followed the ministry's earlier directive requiring all of the operators of educational institutions at the basic and secondary school levels to comply with the state regulations. He regretted that some of the schools visited were operating on their open roof, fallen rafters, and severely cracked walls housing hundreds of pupils under abysmal learning environment. He said that the situation was in complete disregard of the rules on guiding the establishment and management of educational institutions. Mba said that the state government would not compromise on its determination to raise the bar for education by ensuring competent and qualified teachers, adherence to the curriculum, conducive learning environment, and other safety measures for students. According to him, some schools paraded unqualified teachers while cramping children in dilapidated structures that put their lives in danger. The police command in Enugu State has detained 2 suspects for alleged car breaking and stealing within Enugu metropolis. The command spokesman, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, said in a statement on Saturday in Enugu that the police operatives also recovered stolen phones and the suspect's operational vehicle. Ndukwe said that the feat was achieved by police operatives serving in the New Haven division on September 24th, 2024 around 4 p.m. He said the police operatives detained one Abuchi Kenneth, 27, and one Ifeanyi Udu, 29, for breaking and stealing a Samsung Galaxy and an Infinix smartphones from a car parked on Rangers Avenue, Enugu. Ndukwe said the suspects will be arraigned in court soonest. The Nigeria Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC Zamfara Command, has dismissed ASI Moikano Sarikin Tasha for alleged collaboration with bandits to supply hard drugs and ammunition. The state commandant Sani Mustafa disclosed this on Saturday during a news briefing in Gusau. The police command in Zamfara Friday paraded 17 suspected bandits collaborators, including Sarikin Tasha. Mustafa said the command was shocked by the news of the arrest of its officer, alleged for supplying ammunition and hard drugs to bandits in Zamfara. He added that it will not spare any action in enforcing discipline against any officer of the Corps, no matter how highly placed. He pledged to pursue the case with utmost transparency, saying the Corps does not condone any act of indiscipline, not to talk of banditry or terrorism allegations. Mustafa said that the NSCDC was poised to work with other security agencies in the fight against crime and criminality in the state. Still to come, NRC investigates tickets racketeering on Abuja-Kaduna train service. NOA urges Nasarawa riverine communities to relocate to highlands. Details in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has advised youth to leverage technology and talents for self-sustainability. Sanwo-Olu, represented by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Sam Egube, gave the advice at a National Youth Symposium in Lagos. The event, held in honor of his deputy, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat's 60th birthday celebration, was themed Nigeria, Guiding the Youth on the Path of Self-Reliance. According to him, the youth should stay around motivational people and discover their path to self-sustainability. Sanwo-Olu emphasized optimism, seizing opportunities, and collective responsibility for national progress. In his address, Hamzat urged Nigerian youths to seize available opportunities, seek mentorship, and invest in skill development for self-reliance. Hamzat said the exhibition of natural talents, display of knowledge and skills that could positively impact were in demand globally. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos has pledged to support the governor-elect of Edo, Senator Monday Ekpebolo, with development templates that worked for Lagos State. Sanwo-Olu made the pledge during a courtesy visit to him by Ekpebolo at the Lagos House Marina on Saturday. He said that the state's government would give the governor-elect ideas that moved Lagos forward. Ekpebolo thanks the state government for support during the election. He also thanked Sanwo-Olu for his advice. The governor-elect called on other contestants in the election to join hands with him to move Edo forward. Ekpebolo, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, defeated the candidate of the ruling People's Democratic Party (PDP) Asue Ighodalo at the September 21st governorship elections in Edo State. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Police Command on Sunday confirmed that a 35-year-old zoo worker at Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, Abeokuta, Babaji Daunle, was killed by a lion on Saturday. The spokesman for the State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, disclosed this in a statement sent to journalists on Sunday. The Bauchi State-born lion handler was said to have forgotten to secure the locks and barricade the lion's enclosure before approaching the cage to feed the animal. This reportedly allowed the lion to escape and attack the handler, resulting in injuries to his neck and eventual death. The victim's body was said to have been removed and taken to the mortuary at Ijaye General Hospital, while the wild lion was shot to release its grip on the handler. The Nigerian Railway Corporation has announced plans to investigate allegations of ticket racketeering involving some officials on the Abuja-Kaduna train service. The corporation's Deputy Director of Public Relations, Yakub Mahmood, disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja. Mahmood revealed that some officials have been exploiting passengers' difficulties with the online booking platform to engage in ticket racketeering. Mahmood appealed to the public, especially passengers, to bear with the NRC, assuring them that the issue would soon be resolved. On 22nd of January 2021, the federal government launched a 900 million naira e-ticketing platform for the online purchase of train tickets on the Abuja-Kaduna service. In November 2023, the NRC introduced the electronic ticketing platform for the Lagos-Ibadan and Itakwa-Iwari train stations. The NRC said the e-ticketing platform was introduced to reduce physical contacts between passengers and the corporation staff. And elsewhere, stakeholders in the social and economic sectors have advocated comprehensive enlightenment programs to educate Nigerians on the insurance to mitigate impacts of natural disasters. They also called for the review of the insurance policy to address religious and cultural perceptions militating against effective insurance coverage among Nigerians. The stakeholders, including economics scholars and insurance managers, stated this in separate interviews with the newsmen in Bauchi, Dutse, and Gombe states. A Gombe-based economist, Dr. Negal Bachama, said that the Nigerians are wary of insurance due to lack of awareness, poverty, and cumbersome insurance policies. He said that most people, including the elites, were not conversant with benefits of the insurance in addressing social and economic impacts occasioned by flood, fire outbreaks, and natural disasters. Chairman Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ) Bauchi State Council Omar also described poor sensitization as being largely responsible for the low insurance coverage in the country. He said that insurance policies had direct impact on lives of the people and stressed the need for proactive measures to mobilize participation. However, some residents of Dutse in Jigawa dismiss insurance as unlawful due to lack of probity and transparent management. National Orientation Agency (NOA) has urged riverine communities in Nasarawa State on the fringes of River Benue to relocate to higher grounds in view of the impending flood. The Director General of NOA, Lanre Onilu, made the appeal during a media and stakeholders engagement on flood safety alerts on Sunday in Lafia. According to him, the appeal to the riverine communities to move to high grounds became necessary considering the rising water level in River Benue due to the release of waters from the Lacto Dam in Cameroon. Oniru, represented by Director of Planning, Research and Strategy, Yusuf Kobi, explained that the stakeholders' engagement aimed at intensifying sensitization for the flood frontline states to take precautionary measures to avert loss of life and property in the event of flooding. Also speaking, the Director, NOA, Nasarawa State, Dr. Priscilla Gondoloa, said that the states had experienced its share of flood disaster within the last 3 years, with attendant loss of lives and property. She appealed to flood-prone communities to take precautionary measures such as evacuation, cleaning of drains, building of floods defense barriers, as well as stockpile essential supplies like food, water, and first aid kits as easily accessible locations. Troops of the Multinational Joint Task Force (MNJTF) Operation Hadin Kai, Sector 3, have foiled an attempted attack by the Islamic State of West Africa Province (ISWAP) terrorists along Magumeri-Maiduguri axis in Borno. The troops also recovered cache of ammunition from the insurgents in a tactical operation in the area. Lieutenant Colonel Olani Yosaba, Chief Military Information Officer MNJTF N'Djamena, Chad, said this in a statement on Sunday in Maiduguri. He said the troops executed a tactical ambush, neutralizing the threats before the terrorists could wreak havoc on innocent civilians. Osaba said the troops positioned themselves tactically along the terrorist path of movement and engaged them as they emerged from a forested area on motorcycles. He listed the weapons recovered to include 2 AK-47 rifles, 51 rounds of 7.26mm special ammunition, 2 magazines, 61 rounds of 7.262 NATO ammunition, parcels of marijuana, tramadol, among others. The federal government's IFAD Value Chain Development Program, VCDPAF, has facilitated a policy dialogue on the adoption and effective implementation of standard weights and measures in Kogi State. Speaking at the event on Saturday in Lokoja, the State Program Coordinator, SPC of IFAD VCDP, Dr. Stella Adejo, said the initiative would ensure consistency and accuracy in the measurement of weights, lengths, volume, and other quantities. Adejo said that the dialogue was meant to bring all stakeholders together to fashion out the best way for the adoption and implementation of the policy in order to achieve the benefits of weights and measures in the state. She disclosed that the IFAD VCPD, since inception, had positively impacted lives of rural farmers across the 5 benefiting local government areas of Kogi State. He further said that IFAD and VCDP operations and activities which started fully over 3 years ago had made great impacts with evidences in the lives of farmers as well as boosting the state's economy. According to her, VCDP is developed to enhance the incomes and food security of poor rural households engaged in production, processing, and marketing of rice and cassava on a sustainable basis in the targeted local government areas. She stated that the VCDP overall target in Kogi is to impact 8,000 beneficiaries, comprising 7,200 smallholder farmers and 800 processors and traders across Lokoja, Ajakuta, Olamaboro, Kababunu, and Ibaji local government areas. She attributed the modest achievements recorded by the VCDP in Kogi to the supportive role played by the state government, IFAD, and the entire stakeholders. Still to come, Iranian officials attend mourning ceremony for Hezbollah chief in Tehran. Ukraine's President Zelensky commemorates victims of Nazi massacre in Kiev. These and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. On the foreign scene, pro-Palestinian campaigners protested at the gates of Britain's military base at Royal Air Force Akrotiri in Cyprus on Sunday, accusing the UK of offering tacit support to Israel's ongoing operations in Gaza and elsewhere. Chanting out with the bases of deaths, a couple of hundreds of people holding Palestinian and Cypriot flags peacefully protested outside the locked gates of the facility. Britain last week sent additional troops to Cyprus to be in the position to assist any potential evacuation of nationals trapped in Lebanon, which he is reeling from a barrage of Israeli airstrikes which culminated in the killing of Hezbollah leader Saeed Hassan Nasrallah on Friday evening. The UK has two military bases on Cyprus. A former British colony, Raf Akrotiri, has been used in the past as a staging point for airstrikes against Houthi forces in Yemen in retaliation for attacks on Red Sea shipping that the Iran-backed group says is a response to the war in Gaza. This is an issue of independence and sovereignty for Cyprus, said Peter Losif, a member of the Cyprus Peace Council and organizer of Sunday's demonstrations. Pope Francis was sharply criticized on Saturday by one of Belgium's Catholic universities over his stance on the role of women in society in a strongly worded press release issued just moments after the pontiff spoke at the college. Professors and students at the UC Leuven, where the 87-year-old pontiff had made a speech on Saturday afternoon, said they wanted to express their incomprehension and disapproval about the Pope's views. UC Leuven deplores the conservative positions expressed by Pope Francis on the role of women in society, said the statements in extraordinary language from a Catholic university about a Pope. Francis went to the university on Saturday to celebrate its upcoming 600th anniversary as part of a weekend trip he is making to Belgium. His speech largely called for global action on climate change, but he's also responded to a letter to him from students and professors that had asked about the Catholic Church's teaching on women. The Pope emphasized that the Church was not run like a corporation. A woman is a daughter, a sister, a mother, just as a man is a son, a brother, a father, he said. The Pope also described women as having a fertile welcome, a care, and a vital devotion. The university statements called the Pope's position on women's roles in society deterministic and reductive. Francis has faced criticism during events throughout his trip to Belgium. The country's king and prime minister called on the Pope to take more concrete actions to help survivors of abuse by Catholic clergy. And a rector at a different Catholic university asked him to reconsider the Catholic Church's ban on ordaining women as priests. Iranian officials attended the morning ceremony for Hezbollah leader Saeed Hassan Nasrallah in Tehran on Sunday. The leader of the Iranian-backed group was killed in an Israeli airstrike in Beirut on Saturday. Among those who attended the ceremony were Iran's Interior Minister Eskander Momeni, the Vice President for Strategic Affairs of Mohammad Javad Zarif, and a Iran, Khalid Kardoumi. Senior figures in Iran, which helped create Hezbollah in the early 1980s, have also mourned the death of a senior Revolutionary Guards member, Abbas Nilforoshan, who was also killed alongside Nasrallah. Meanwhile, Muslims from the Shiite community in Indian Kashmir held protest marches on Sunday to show solidarity with Lebanon and Palestinians after the killings of Hezbollah leader Saeed Hassan Nasrallah by Israeli airstrikes. Protesters, including women, chanted pro-Hezbollah and Palestinian slogans in Bodgam, town of Indian Kashmir. Many held banners and waved flags, while some carried portraits of Nasrallah. Nasrallah was killed in a massive Israeli attack on Friday on the group's headquarters in Beirut's southern suburbs. It was a major blow to Hezbollah and to Iran, removing an influential ally who helped build Hezbollah into the linchpin of Tehran's network of allied groups in the Arab world. Debris and charred buildings were seen on Sunday in Beirut's southern suburbs following Israeli strikes in the area where Israel claims Hezbollah's headquarters are located. Israel struck multiple targets in Lebanon on Sunday, pressing Hezbollah with more attacks and saying it had killed yet another senior figure after it struck a huge blow by killing the Iran-backed group's leader, Saeed Hassan Nasrallah. The Israeli military said the Air Force had struck dozens of Hezbollah terror targets in Lebanon, including launchers that were aimed towards Israeli territory, structures in which weapons were stored, and additional Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure. It also said it had killed Nabil Kaouk, a prominent Hezbollah leader, the latest in a string of Israeli strikes that have targeted many of the group's most senior figures. Hezbollah has not yet commented on Kaouk's fate, but its supporters have been posting mourning messages for him since Saturday. The escalation has increased fears the conflict could spin out of control, potentially drawing in Iran, as well as United States, Israel's closest ally. And small plumes could be seen rising from buildings in the Lebanese capital Beirut on Sunday, just after Israel's military said it had conducted a precise strike on a target in the Hezbollah-controlled southern Beirut suburb of Dahiya. Israel struck more targets in Lebanon on Sunday, pressing Hezbollah with new attacks after killing the Iran-backed group's leader, Saeed Hassan Nasrallah, and a string of its other top commanders in an escalating military campaign. The attacks have dealt a stunning succession of blows to Hezbollah after almost a year of cross-border fire, killing much of its leadership and revealing gaping security holes. Israel's defense minister is now discussing widening the offensive. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday marked the 83rd anniversary of a mass killing, mainly of Jews, in Nazi-occupied Kyiv. Nazi forces shot dead nearly 34,000 Jewish men, women and children on September 29 to 30th, 1941 at Babyn Yar, a wooden ravine after occupying the Ukrainian capital, which was then part of the Soviet Union during World War II. Over the next 2 years, thousands more people were killed at Babyn Yar. Most were Jews, but the victims also included Roma and non-Jewish Ukrainians, Poles and Russians. Zelensky is Ukraine's first ethnically Jewish president. Although he is not publicly religious, most of his grandfather's family was killed during World War II. Russia launched a full-scale invasion on Ukraine in February 2022, saying the goal of the special military operation was to denazify and demilitarize its neighbor. Kyiv and its Western allies have accused Russia of an unprovoked land grab. And elsewhere, residents in Nepal's capital city of Kathmandu faced the daunting task of cleaning up what landslides and floods triggered by 2 days of heavy rain across the Himalayan nation, which left a trail of destruction and killed 129 people, with 62 missing, officials say on Sunday. Locals worked together to carry out broken crates and buckets of mud out of a market as bags of produce stocked outside on the ground. Some parts of the capital reported rain of up to 322.2 millimeters, that's at 12.7 inches, pushing the level of its main Bagmati River up to 2.2 millimeters, 7 feet past the danger mark, experts say. Most rivers in the Himalayan nation have swollen, spilling over roads and bridges, authorities say, after nearly a week's delay in the retreat of South Asia's annual monsoon rains brought torrential downpours across the region. Patrol boats and helicopters searched on Sunday for about 48 migrants missing since their boats sank near the Spanish island of El Hierro in what threatens to be the deadliest of such incidents in 30 years of crossing from Africa to the Canary Islands. 9 people, one of them a child, have been confirmed as dead after their boat sank in the early hours of Saturday morning, emergency and rescue services say. Rescuers are able to pick up 27 of 84 migrants who were trying to reach the Spanish coast on Saturday. 3 patrol boats and 3 helicopters were taking part in the renewed search on Sunday, a Spanish Coast Guard spokesman said. The migrants were from Mali, Mauritania, and Senegal. Spanish authorities say the emergency services received the call on Saturday shortly after midnight from the boat. which was located around 4 miles east of El Hierro. An award ceremony presenting the highest state honors to 15 distinguished individuals was held in Beijing on Sunday morning to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China, PRC. The award ceremony commenced with the national anthem of the PRC at the Great Hall of the People. The awardees received the Medal of the Republic, the Friendship Medal, the honorary titles from President Xi Jinping, also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, CPC Central Committee, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission. The ceremony was presided over by Xiao Qi, member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, member of the Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, and Director of the Honor Commendation Committee of Party and State. The red and golden medals of the Republic are awarded to individuals who have made great contributions to the construction and development of the People's Republic of China, while the golden and blue friendship medals are China's highest state honor for foreigners, reserved for those who have made outstanding contributions to China's modernization drive, promoting exchange and cooperation between China and the world, and safeguarding world peace. The medals for national honorary titles, mainly in red and golden colors, are awarded to the honorees who have made outstanding contributions in various fields and sectors of the country. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Wang Yi expounded on the contributions of Chinese modernization to the world in a speech at the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA 79, on Saturday. In his speech delivered at the general debate of UNGA 79, Wang, also a member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, explained in detail the implication of Chinese modernization for the world, from four aspects of world peace and stability, common development, global governance, and human civilization. Noting that the People's Republic of China is to celebrate its 75th founding anniversary on October 1st, Wang said, quote, "Over the 75 years, despite changes in an evolving global environment, China's choice has remained unchanged. That is, pulling out all resources to pursue the people's happiness, national rejuvenation, and also the progress for mankind and world harmony. While pursuing its own development, China, with a global vision, has always striven to create new opportunities for the world with its own development." Noting that the Chinese culture values peace and the Chinese nation has no tradition of external expansion, Wang said that China is the only major country that has written peaceful development into its constitution, and the only country among the 5 nuclear weapons states to pledge no first use of nuclear weapons. Wang said China has proposed to set up an international day for dialogue among civilizations, calling for more people-to-people exchanges and cooperation across the world to strengthen mutual understanding and meets among people of all countries. Information of China Coast Guards, CCG, Meishan and Yushan vessels and several Russian Coast Guards ships has carried out joint law enforcement patrol and emergency handling missions in the high seas of the North Pacific to enhance coordination capabilities and jointly maintain the order of the fishery production in the area. In the exercise of joint damage control and life-saving subjects, according to the exercise deployment, the Russian ship suddenly reported a simulated explosion and fire on the rear deck during the cruise, and CCG Meishan vessel immediately turned and used water cannons to extinguish the fire. Chinese crew members also took assault boats and boarded Russian ships with firefighting and rescue equipment to put out fire in specific areas and rescue people who fell into the water. The operation tested the ability to jointly respond to sudden dangerous situations during joint law enforcement patrols, according to CCG official. During the joint operation, the fleet boarded and inspected the operating vessels in accordance with the relevant resolutions of the United Nations General Assembly and the Convention on the Conservation and Management of High Seas Fishery Resources in the North Pacific Ocean, and also conducted joint search for illegal vessels and other exercises to further enhance the joint law enforcement capabilities of the Chinese and Russian Coast Guards. Leader of Austria's Freedom Party and candidate for the general elections, Herbert Kickl, said that he had a good feeling about the election's outcome when casting his vote on Sunday in Vienna. The FPO had led opinion polls for months, but its lead over Chancellor Karl Nehammer's OVP has now almost evaporated in a campaign dominated by voter concerns over the economy and immigration. Whoever wins will fall short of an. Keiko said he voters make their judgment and analyze the situation later. OVP leader and Chancellor Karl Nehammer has ruled out explicitly to work with Keiko, yet has not excluded the possibility to form a coalition with its party in general. Nehammer cast himself as a statesman and depicts his rival, FPO leader Herbert Kickl, as a toxic menace. Kickl has styled himself as a defender of Austrian neutrality who will clean up the country after years of establishment failures. Polling stations open just after dawn and projections are due minutes after polls close at 5 p.m. And elsewhere, Pramac Racing's George Martins led a crash-hit Indonesia Grand Prix in Mandalika from start to finish on Sunday to win his third race of the season and extend to 21 points his lead over reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia. Pole sitter Martin rocketed off a line in hot and humid conditions at the Mandalika International Street Circuit to take the lead going into turn one and stay there throughout the race, despite having Pedro Acosta breathing down his neck. The jubilant 26-year-old punched the air after his win, which comes a year after he crashed at the 2023 Indonesia GP to throw away his lead in the championship before ultimately finishing runner-up to Bagnaia. The Spaniards lead this championship with 366 points, 21 ahead of Bagnaia, 345 in second place. Bagnaia, looking to win 8 races in the season for the first time in his MotoGP career, qualified fourth on the grid and won his sprint on Saturday to cut his gap with Martin to 12 points. The Italian Ducati rider had a terrible start, staying stuck in fourth after a slow launch before drifting wide and being overtaken by Franco Morbidelli and Marco Bezzecchi to drop down into sixth in the second lap. Bagnaia moved up to fifth after teammate Enea Bastianini crashed out late in the race and then took advantage of errors by Bezzecchi and Morbidelli to clinch a spot on the podium and limit the damage dealt to him by Martin's win. Bastianini's crash has all but ended the Italian's dreams of an outside victory, putting him 54 points behind Bagnaia in the drivers' standings. Adrian Fernandez, Leopard Racing, was second, and David Munoz, BOE Motorsports, was third. Meanwhile, Ethiopians dominated the Berlin Marathon on Sunday as Milkesa Mengesha won the men's race and Tigist Katema claimed victory in the women's event. Mengesha 24 ran a personal best time of 2 hours 3 minutes 17 seconds to finish ahead of Kenya's Saiban Kotuk and fellow Ethiopian Haymanot Aliu. The last kilometer was an engaging battle between Mengesha and Kotuk, but the Ethiopians stepped on the gas in the final stretch and surged over the finish line 5 seconds ahead. The pre-race favorite was Ethiopia's Tadisi Takele, with 5 times winner Eliud Kipchoge not competing. Takele finished 7th. The women's podium was all Ethiopians Katema's time of 2 hours 16 minutes 42 seconds, seeing her cross the finish line more than 2 minutes ahead of Mastertwat's Fikr and Bosna Mulati. Katema opened up a sizable lead in the first half of the run and clinched victory in the third fastest time ever run in the event. Katema's time was 5 minutes slower than Taix Asefa's winning effort of 2 hours 11 minutes 53 seconds last year, which is the women's marathon world record. A number of big names were missing in the Berlin race, held just over a month after the end of the Paris Olympics. And that's the news this hour. Many thanks for watching. Thank you so much. My name is Charles Byers. Have a good evening. What a news. What do you make this thing can go off now? Oh, come on. This thing went off.